"Dad," Lily whispered from somewhere behind the school. "Please don't let them lock the door again." Marcus Reed stopped beside his old pickup so fast the grocery bag in his hand swung against his knee. The late afternoon parking lot was almost empty, washed in the pale gray light of a November sky. A yellow school bus hissed at the curb. Somewhere beyond the baseball field, a leaf blower whined and then went quiet. Marcus looked toward the service lane behind the gym, where a narrow row of storage sheds sat beneath a flickering security light. He had come to pick up his 8-year-old son, Noah, after robotics club. Instead, he heard a child's voice shaking through a metal door. "Lily," he called, already moving. The sound came again, softer this time. "I'm here." His work boots struck the pavement in quick, hard steps. The air smelled like wet mulch, diesel exhaust, and the sharp lemon scent of floor cleaner drifting from an open side entrance. Marcus rounded the corner and saw the shed at the end of the lane. It was barely bigger than a backyard tool closet, painted district green, its small window clouded with dust. A pink backpack lay on the ground beside it, one strap twisted under a fallen rake. Marcus crouched near the door. "Lily, it's Marcus. I'm Noah's dad. Can you hear me?" A small breath caught on the other side. "They said nobody would come." Marcus closed his eyes for half a second. Not because he did not know what to do. Because he did. He knew the sound of a child trying not to cry. He had heard it in Noah's room after his mother died, when the night felt too big and every shadow seemed to have a voice. Marcus kept his tone low. "I came. You're not alone." The padlock was old, brass-colored, and looped through a steel latch. Marcus reached into the bed of his truck, where he kept a compact emergency tool kit for roadside repairs. His hands moved carefully, not fast. The metal was cold against his palm. Behind him, sneakers scraped the pavement. A boy's voice said, "Hey, mister, you can't be back here." Marcus turned his head just enough to see 3 students standing near the corner of the gym. Clean jackets, expensive backpacks, faces trying hard to look bored. "Where's the staff member?" Marcus asked. None of them answered. One girl folded her arms. She probably locked herself in. Marcus looked back at the door. A locked door doesn't close itself from the outside. The boy's smile disappeared. Marcus did not raise his voice. He did not step toward them. He simply pulled out his phone and held it at his side, the camera pointed toward the lane. "You can wait for the principal with me," he said. "Or you can tell the truth now." For a moment, only the security light buzzed above them. Then a car door slammed in the parking lot, and a woman's voice called from far away. "Is everything okay over there?" The students shifted. Marcus heard Lily's breathing through the door, thin and uneven. He focused on the lock again. Click. The latch gave way. He opened the door slowly. Lily Hart sat on the concrete floor with her knees pulled to her chest, her denim jacket dusty at the elbows. Her dark blonde hair had fallen across her face. Around one wrist, she held the broken half of a silver charm bracelet. Marcus stepped back to give her space. "You can come out when you're ready," he said. Lily looked at him with wide, frightened eyes. "My dad's going to think I did something wrong." Marcus held the door open as the cold air moved around them. "Then your dad needs to hear what happened," he said. "And he needs to hear it from someone who listened." Marcus did not touch Lily until she stepped forward on her own. Then she moved out of the shed slowly, one sneaker dragging through the gravel, her shoulders folded inward beneath the denim jacket. The cold November air caught her face, and she blinked hard against the light. Marcus kept the door open behind her and lowered himself to one knee, careful to stay several feet away. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Lily shook her head, then looked down at the broken bracelet wrapped around her wrist. "I am okay," she said, but the words sounded practiced, like something she had learned to say so adults would stop asking questions. Marcus recognized that too. He had heard Noah say it after a bad day at school, standing in the kitchen with his backpack still on and his little hands pressed flat against the counter. "I am okay." The sentence children used when they hoped nobody would notice they were not. Marcus took off his flannel overshirt and held it out. "It is cold back here." Lily stared at it for a second before accepting it. The sleeves swallowed her hands. She pulled it close around herself, and the fabric smelled faintly of motor oil, laundry soap, and the cinnamon gum Marcus kept in his truck. Behind them, the 3 students were no longer standing by the gym wall. They had slipped around the corner, their footsteps fading toward the front lot. Marcus watched the empty space where they had been, then looked at Lily. Do you know their names? Her mouth tightened. They know mine. That was not what I asked. Lily looked up. Something shifted in her eyes, small but real. Evan Mercer, Tyler Brooks, and Madison Crane. Marcus repeated the names quietly, committing them to memory. Then he opened the passenger door of his pickup and helped Lily climb inside without rushing her. The cab was warm from the heater, and Noah's orange science fair poster board was wedged behind the seat beside a bag of paper towels. Lily sat with both hands in her lap, staring through the windshield at the school building. My dad is coming, she said. He always comes. Good, Marcus replied. We will wait where people can see us. He walked her to the bench outside the main entrance, beneath the bright glass doors and the school mascot painted on the brick wall. A few parents moved through the lot, carrying coffee cups and car keys, their faces tired from workdays that had run too long. When Marcus returned from calling the front office, a woman in a navy cardigan was already walking toward them. She wore a visitor badge and a worried expression that seemed to arrive before the rest of her. I am Ms. Delaney, she said. I was told there was an issue near the storage area. Marcus stood beside Lily, not in front of her, not speaking over her. There was, he said. She was locked inside. Ms. Delaney's eyes flicked toward Lily, then toward Marcus's work boots, his dark hands, the grease stain near his cuff. Her smile tightened. Perhaps there has been a misunderstanding. Children can be imaginative after a stressful day. Lily's fingers closed around the broken bracelet. Marcus felt something settle in his chest, heavy and familiar. He had seen that look before. The look that asked whether a black man in work clothes belonged in the conversation at all. He kept his voice even. Then we can check the camera footage. Ms. Delaney hesitated. The automatic doors opened behind her with a soft mechanical sigh. Inside, the hallway lights reflected off polished tile, cold and white. Lily looked at Marcus, her face pale beneath the fading afternoon light. They said nobody would believe me, she whispered. Marcus met her eyes. Then they were wrong. Ms. Delaney did not answer right away. Her visitor badge tapped softly against the zipper of her cardigan as she glanced through the glass doors toward the front office. The school lobby behind her was warm and bright, decorated with paper snowflakes and a bulletin board that read "Kindness starts here" in blue cutout letters. Marcus looked at those words for a moment, then looked back at Lily. She was sitting very still on the bench, wrapped in his flannel, her small fingers worrying the broken charm bracelet beneath the cuff. The cameras are handled by district security, Ms. Delaney finally said. We cannot simply access them whenever someone makes an accusation. Marcus nodded once, then called district security. Her lips pressed together. I am trying to keep this from becoming more upsetting than it needs to be. For who? Marcus asked. The question landed quietly. No raised voice. No step forward. Just 6 words between them, sharp as winter air. Ms. Delaney's eyes shifted away first. Across the parking lot, a dark blue sedan rolled past the curb. Then another car pulled in behind it. Parents were collecting children. Doors opened. Engine started. The ordinary end-of-day noise continued as if nothing had happened behind the gym. Marcus hated that part most. How the world could keep moving while one child sat beside him, believing she had been forgotten. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Noah. Marcus looked down at the screen and saw 3 missed calls from the robotics club coordinator. His stomach tightened. He had promised Noah he would be there at 4:15. It was now 4:38. For a second, Marcus pictured his son waiting in the library, backpack at his feet, trying to act brave while the other kids left one by one. He turned toward the office doors. Where is robotics club? Ms. Delaney pointed down the hall. Room 112. Marcus looked at Lily. I need to get my son. I am not leaving you alone. Lily's eyes widened. You have a son? His name is Noah. He is 8. He likes robots, peanut butter crackers, and asking questions when I am trying to concentrate. A tiny smile touched her mouth, then disappeared. Will he be mad? He will be worried, Marcus said. But he will understand. Inside, the hallway smelled of pencil shavings, cafeteria pizza, and the faint chemical scent of freshly mopped floors. Marcus walked beside Lily, matching her slow steps. Ms. Delaney followed behind them, speaking into her phone in a low voice. They passed trophy cases filled with gold plaques and framed photos of smiling students. Lily kept her head down. At room 112, Marcus saw Noah through the narrow window in the door. He sat alone at a table beneath a poster of the solar system, His backpack zipped beside him, and a small robot, made from gray plastic blocks resting near his elbow. The coordinator, Mr. Patel, stood nearby with his coat on, waiting patiently. When Noah saw Marcus, he stood so quickly his chair scraped the floor. Then he noticed Lily beside him. His face changed. "Dad," he said, "what happened?" Marcus opened the door and crouched beside him. "This is Lily. She needs us to stay close for a little while." Noah looked at Lily's borrowed flannel and the bracelet in her hand. He did not ask more questions. He picked up his robot and held it out to her. "This is Atlas," he said. "He does not work very well yet, but he is good at staying upright." Lily looked at the little machine. Her fingers loosened around the broken charm. For the first time since Marcus found her, she took a full breath. Then, from the far end of the hallway, a deep engine rumble rolled across the parking lot and through the glass doors. Every adult in the corridor went still. The sound grew louder, then stopped all at once. Through the long windows at the end of the hallway, Marcus saw 3 motorcycles lined along the curb beneath the school flagpole. Their chrome caught the last thin light of the afternoon. A few parents paused beside their cars. One mother pulled her child a little closer. Mr. Patel looked toward the office with uncertainty, while Ms. Delaney straightened her cardigan as if a neat collar could make the moment easier to manage. Lily did not move. Her face had gone pale, but her eyes stayed fixed on the doors. "That is him," she whispered. Marcus looked down at Noah, who stood close beside him with Atlas held against his chest. "Stay with Mr. Patel for 1 minute," Marcus said. Noah nodded, though his fingers tightened around the little robot. Marcus walked back toward Lily, not because he thought she needed protection from her father, but because nobody should have to face a hard moment alone. The front doors opened with a soft click. A tall white man stepped inside, carrying the cold outside with him. He wore a black leather jacket faded at the shoulders, worn jeans, and heavy boots marked with road dust. His gray-streaked hair was pulled back at the nape of his neck. There was nothing rushed about him, but the whole lobby seemed to make room anyway. Behind him stood 2 other riders, both waiting quietly near the entrance. The man's eyes found Lily first. "Lily," he said. His voice was rough, but not loud. Lily stood from the bench, clutching Marcus's flannel around her. For 1 second, she looked like she might run to him. Then she looked at the floor. "Dad." The man's gaze dropped to the broken bracelet in her hand. His jaw tightened. He took 1 step closer, then stopped when he saw Marcus standing beside her. His eyes moved over Marcus's work shirt, the grease near his sleeve, the phone still in his hand. "Who are you?" he asked. Marcus kept his hands where they could be seen. "My name is Marcus Reed. I found your daughter behind the gym." The man's expression changed, not softer, but sharper. "Found her where?" "Locked in a storage shed." The lobby went silent. Ms. Delaney moved forward quickly. "Mr. Hart, we are still gathering information. There may be more context." Dean Hart did not look at her. His eyes stayed on Lily. "Did someone lock you in?" Lily's lips trembled. She looked toward Marcus, then at the floor again. Marcus did not answer for her. He only said, "You can tell him when you are ready." Dean's gaze returned to Marcus. Something in it was guarded, suspicious, the look of a father who had arrived late and was trying to understand every face in the room at once. "Why were you with her?" he asked. Marcus heard the question beneath the question. "Why was a stranger near my child? Why should I trust you? Why do I feel like I missed something important?" Marcus could have answered with anger. Instead, he looked at Lily's small hand wrapped around the broken charm. "Because she called for help," he said. Dean's shoulders went still. Lily finally raised her eyes. "He heard me," she whispered. Nobody else did. The words seemed to take the air out of the room. Dean looked at his daughter for a long moment. Then he lowered himself slowly to one knee in front of her, his leather jacket creasing at the shoulders. "I am here now," he said. Lily swallowed. "I know." But she did not step into his arms. Not yet. Marcus watched Dean's face as he understood the distance between those 2 words. "I know." Not, "I am safe." Not, "I am okay." Just, "I know." Outside, the motorcycles ticked softly as their engines cooled. Inside, Dean Hart looked at Marcus again, and this time the suspicion in his eyes had begun to give way to something heavier. Dean rose slowly, but the silence between him and Lily stayed where it was, stretched thin across the polished lobby floor. Marcus could hear the heating system humming above them and the faint tick of cooling engines outside. Ms. Delaney stood near the reception desk with her phone in both hands. watching Dean Hart the way people watched a thunderstorm from behind glass. Dean looked toward her at last. "Show me the camera footage," he said. His voice was low enough that nobody had to flinch, but it carried through the lobby anyway. Ms. Delaney drew in a careful breath. "District security has been notified. We need to follow procedure." "Then follow it," Dean replied. "Now." Marcus saw Lily glance at her father. There was fear in her face, but there was something else too. Hope, maybe. The kind that came carefully, like a hand reaching toward a stray animal. Dean turned to her. "Did this happen before?" Lily pressed the broken bracelet against her chest. Her answer did not come right away. Noah stood near Mr. Patel, quiet now, his small robot tucked under one arm. Marcus noticed his son watching Lily with the solemn attention children gave each other when adults did not understand. Finally, Lily nodded. "They put my lunch in the trash last week," she said. "And they wrote things on my locker." Dean's face changed. He did not shout. He did not move. His hands simply closed at his sides, then opened again. "Why did you not tell me?" Lily looked down. "You were busy." The words were soft, but they landed harder than anything else in the room. Dean's eyes shifted toward the windows, where the motorcycles waited at the curb. Marcus understood without being told. Long rides. Late nights. A father who loved his daughter enough to cross town in minutes, but had not noticed how quiet she had become before he got the call. Ms. Delaney cleared her throat. "We have had no formal reports of ongoing harassment." Marcus looked at her. A child does not need paperwork before she deserves help. The woman's cheeks colored. "I am not saying she does not deserve help." "Then stop saying what she did not do," Marcus answered. His voice remained calm, but the lobby had changed around it. A father waiting by the doors stopped pretending to check his phone. Mr. Patel looked down at the floor. Even the two riders outside had gone still behind the glass. Dean studied Marcus for a long moment. There was no challenge in his eyes now. Only a question he seemed afraid to ask. "You have a kid?" he said, looking toward Noah. "Yes," Marcus replied. "Then you know." Marcus followed his gaze to Noah. "I know what it costs when they think they have to carry it alone." Dean nodded once. It was not an apology. Not yet. But it was the first honest thing he had shown since walking through the door. A security officer entered from the main hallway with a tablet under one arm. He introduced himself as Officer Ramirez and spoke with the careful, official tone of someone who had been told only half the story. Ms. Delaney stepped toward him quickly, but Lily spoke first. "It was Evan, Tyler, and Madison," she said. Her voice shook, yet she did not look away. "They locked me in there." Officer Ramirez paused, then crouched so he was at her eye level. "Thank you for telling me," he said. Marcus saw Lily's shoulders loosen by 1 small inch. Then Officer Ramirez looked at the tablet, tapped the screen, and frowned. "The camera behind the gym was turned away from the shed at 3:42, he said. "That is strange." Dean's face went still again. Marcus felt the cold return to the room. Someone had not only wanted Lily hidden. Someone had wanted the truth hidden too. Officer Ramirez enlarged the image on his tablet, and the small group gathered closer without meaning to. The footage showed the service lane behind the gym in grainy black and white. At 3:41, Lily appeared near the shed, her backpack slipping from one shoulder. At 3:42, the camera angle shifted toward the empty loading dock. Then the screen held nothing but a brick wall, a dumpster, and a strip of windblown leaves. Marcus watched Lily's face instead of the tablet. She had gone quiet again, her eyes fixed on the screen as if it might suddenly explain why nobody had come sooner. Dean stood beside her, close enough to reach her, but careful not to crowd her. His leather jacket looked different now, less like armor and more like something heavy he had forgotten to take off. "Can that camera move on its own?" he asked. Officer Ramirez shook his head. "Not on this schedule. It is a fixed camera. Someone would have needed access to the control panel." Ms. Delaney's mouth opened, then closed. Marcus noticed the small tremor in her hand as she adjusted her visitor badge. "Only maintenance and administration have access," she said. "And the district office." "Then somebody should explain it," Dean replied. His voice stayed even, but the two riders near the entrance exchanged a glance and stepped farther back, giving the room space. Marcus respected that. Dean could have filled the lobby with noise. Instead, he stood still beside his daughter. Lily looked up at him. "I did not touch it," she said quickly. Dean turned to her. "I know you did not. They said if I told, they would say I broke it." Her words came faster now. "Evan said his mom knows the principal." Madison said nobody would believe me because I always get scared. Marcus felt Noah move closer to his side. His son held Atlas against his chest, the plastic robot's little wheels pressing into his sweater. Marcus rested one hand lightly on Noah's shoulder. Being scared does not make you wrong, he said. Lily looked at him, and for a moment the lobby seemed to shrink around those words. Officer Ramirez tapped a few more times on the tablet. There is another camera near the staff parking lot, he said. It might show who went into the control room. Ms. Delaney stepped forward. Officer, perhaps we should wait for the principal before making assumptions. Marcus turned toward her. The fluorescent lights above reflected off the tile, making every face look tired and pale. Nobody is making assumptions, he said. We are asking questions. Ms. Delaney looked at his work shirt again, then at Dean, then at the growing line of parents watching from the hall. This is a sensitive matter, she said. We should avoid escalating things. Dean finally faced her fully. My daughter was locked in a shed, he said. The camera was moved. She told you she has been scared before. What exactly are you trying to keep small? Ms. Delaney had no answer. Lily's fingers found the edge of Marcus's flannel. She did not pull it tighter this time. She simply held it, like proof that someone had stood beside her when the door opened. Then Officer Ramirez's tablet chimed. He looked down, and the color drained from his face. I found something, he said. On the screen, a figure in a school maintenance jacket crossed the staff lot at 3:36. The person carried a ring of keys and walked toward the control room. The image was blurred, but the bright red lanyard around the figure's neck was clear. Ms. Delaney wore the same red lanyard. For one long second, nobody spoke. The red lanyard on the screen swayed against the maintenance jacket as the figure disappeared through the staff entrance. Ms. Delaney looked at the tablet, then at the red badge hanging from her own neck. Her fingers rose to it without thinking. That is not me, she said. The sentence came too quickly. Officer Ramirez did not argue. He only enlarged the image. The face was still hidden beneath the brim of a school cap, but the figure's walk was clear, one shoulder slightly lower than the other, moving with the practiced pace of someone who knew the building well. We will verify that, he said. Ms. Delaney gave a thin laugh that did not sound like laughter. Of course. You cannot seriously believe I would do something like this. Dean's eyes stayed on the screen. I do not know what you would do, he said. That is the problem. Lily stepped closer to Marcus. Her hand found the side seam of his flannel, and Marcus felt the small pull of her fingers. He did not look down at her. He knew that if he did, she might feel like everyone was waiting for her to fall apart. Instead, he kept his gaze on Officer Ramirez. There are other cameras, he said. The hallway by the control room. The staff entrance. The parking lot. Officer Ramirez nodded. I am pulling all of them now. Ms. Delaney's face tightened. This is becoming a spectacle. Marcus turned toward her. It became serious when a child was left behind a locked door. His voice was quiet, but every parent in the hallway heard it. Dean looked at Marcus then, and something in his expression shifted again. Earlier, he had looked at Marcus as a stranger standing too close to his daughter. Now he looked at him like a man trying to understand how someone else had seen what he had missed. Noah stood beside Marcus with Atlas tucked under his arm. He leaned toward Lily and whispered, My robot has a flashlight setting. Lily looked at him. Really? Noah nodded and pressed a tiny button beneath the robot's plastic frame. A small white light blinked on and off. It was not much, barely brighter than a phone screen, but Lily watched it with complete attention. It helps when it is dark, Noah said. Lily's mouth trembled into the smallest smile. Dean saw it. His face softened. Then he looked away toward the windows, where dusk had turned the parking lot blue. Marcus could almost hear the thoughts moving behind Dean's silence. All the times Lily had said she was fine. All the nights he had come home tired, assuming quiet meant peace. Officer Ramirez's tablet chimed again. He tapped the screen and frowned. The staff entrance camera shows the same person entering at 3:36, he said. But there is another detail. He turned the tablet toward them. The figure in the maintenance jacket paused under the exterior light and handed a key ring to someone waiting near the door. The second person wore a varsity jacket. Even in the blurred image, the bright school crest on the chest was unmistakable. Lily stared at the screen. Her breath caught. That is Evan, she whispered. Dean's jaw tightened, but he did not move. Marcus watched him take one slow breath through his nose, then another. Do not say anything you cannot prove, Ms. Delaney said, her voice sharp now. Marcus looked at her. Nobody is guessing, he replied. We are finally looking. Outside, a cold wind pushed dry leaves across the curb. Inside, Lily held Noah's little robot in both hands, its tiny light blinking between her fingers. And for the first time that afternoon, she did not look like she was waiting for someone to save her. She looked like she was waiting for the truth to arrive. The name Evan Mercer stayed in the air after Lily said it. It was only 2 words, but Marcus felt the hallway change around them. A father near the trophy case looked down at his shoes. Mr. Patel folded his arms and stared at the floor. Ms. Delaney's face had gone pale beneath the fluorescent lights, though she kept her shoulders straight as if posture could hold the whole school together. Dean did not look at the screen again. He looked at Lily. Is Evan the one who has been bothering you? Lily held Noah's little robot against her chest, its white light blinking softly through the lobby. She nodded once. He said his family pays for everything here. Dean's eyes lowered. And the others? They laughed, Lily said. Madison told me I should be grateful they even let me sit near them. The words came out small, almost embarrassed, as if Lily thought she had done something wrong by repeating them. Marcus felt Noah shift beside him. His son had stopped fidgeting. He was listening with the serious, quiet face he wore when something mattered. Dean's hands rested at his sides, open and still. Why did you not tell me this before? He asked. Lily looked at the black leather jacket, then at the faded patches stitched across the chest. Because you always say you will handle things. Dean's brow tightened. I would have. That is why, she said. Dean blinked. Lily swallowed and looked toward the glass doors. Beyond them, the 3 motorcycles waited beneath the school lights, large and silent against the darkening sky. I did not want you to come here angry, she whispered. I did not want everybody to be scared of you because of me. Dean's face changed in a way Marcus could not miss. The anger did not disappear. It folded inward, becoming something quieter and harder to carry. He glanced at the riders outside, then at the parents who had moved their children closer when he arrived. For the first time, he seemed to see the picture from Lily's side. A father who loved her. A man people watched carefully. A shadow that followed her into places she had to walk alone. I thought being feared would keep you safe, Dean said. Lily's eyes filled, but she did not cry. It did not. The lobby went completely still. Marcus looked away, giving them the privacy of not being watched too closely. He remembered the night Noah had asked why other kids looked at Marcus differently when he wore his work clothes. Marcus had wanted to give him an answer that would fit inside a bedtime story. Instead, he had said, some people decide who you are before they learn your name. Noah had been quiet for a long time after that. Officer Ramirez cleared his throat gently. Mr. Hart, I need to contact Evan Mercer's parents and the school principal. I also need a statement from Lily, but she can have a parent or another trusted adult present. Dean looked at Lily. Who do you want with you? Lily's fingers tightened around the robot. She looked at her father first. Then she looked at Marcus. Both, she said. Dean nodded immediately. Both. Ms. Delaney took a step toward the office, but Officer Ramirez lifted one hand. Please remain here for now, he said. Her expression sharpened. Are you detaining me? No, he replied. I am asking you not to leave while we verify access records. Marcus watched Ms. Delaney's eyes flick toward the hallway, then back to the tablet. It was quick, but not quick enough. Dean noticed too. He did not move toward her. He only said, if you know something, now would be a good time to remember it. Ms. Delaney pressed her lips together. Then the front doors opened, and a man in a charcoal overcoat entered the lobby with a phone pressed to his ear. He stopped when he saw Officer Ramirez, the parents, the riders outside, and Lily standing between Marcus and Dean. His eyes landed on the tablet. What is going on? He asked. Ms. Delaney exhaled slowly. Mr. Mercer, she said. We were just discussing your son. Mr. Mercer ended his call, but he did not put the phone away. He stood just inside the lobby doors in a charcoal overcoat that looked too expensive for the weather, his hair neatly cut, his expression already impatient. He saw Dean's leather jacket, Marcus's work clothes, Officer Ramirez holding a tablet, and Lily standing with Noah's small robot pressed against her chest. His eyes moved across the room as if he were sorting people into categories. Evan is in the car, he said. What did he do now? The last 2 words carried no surprise. Only annoyance. Lily flinched almost too slightly to notice. Marcus noticed. Dean noticed too. Officer Ramirez stepped forward. We are reviewing an incident involving your son and several other students. A student was found locked in a storage shed behind the gym. Mr. Mercer's face did not change. That sounds serious. It is serious, Officer Ramirez said. The available footage places Evan near the staff entrance shortly before the camera angle was changed. Mr. Mercer looked at the tablet but did not reach for it. A blurry video does not prove anything. No, Marcus said, but it is a reason to look closer. Mr. Mercer turned toward him. His gaze paused on Marcus's name patch, the grease on his cuff, the old pickup visible through the glass doors. And you are? The person who heard her asking for help. The man gave a short, humorless breath. So you are not school staff. You are not family. You are not law enforcement. Marcus held his gaze. No, I am a father. For a moment, Mr. Mercer looked toward Noah, then back at Marcus. Then you should understand that children make mistakes. Lily's shoulders drew in. Dean took one slow step closer to her, not toward Mr. Mercer. He stood at her side. Children make mistakes, Dean said. Adults decide whether those mistakes become a pattern. Mr. Mercer's eyes narrowed. Are you accusing my son? I am listening to my daughter, Dean replied. The words were quiet, but they seemed to settle the whole room. Ms. Delaney shifted near the reception desk. Mr. Mercer, perhaps we should speak privately. Officer Ramirez looked at her. Not yet. Mr. Mercer finally lowered his phone. This school receives significant support from my family, he said. I would appreciate some discretion before people start making damaging claims. Marcus saw Lily's fingers tighten around Atlas. He crouched beside Noah and Lily, lowering his voice so only they could hear. You do not have to make yourself smaller because someone else has a loud last name, he said. Lily looked at him. What if nobody believes me? Marcus glanced toward the school slogan above the lobby doors, the blue letters that promised kindness. Then he looked back at her. We are here, he said. That is where believing starts. Officer Ramirez opened the tablet again. Mr. Mercer, I need Evan to come inside and answer some questions with you present. The man looked through the glass toward the sedan at the curb. For the first time, his confidence seemed to crack. Outside, a teenage boy sat in the back seat with his hood pulled low, staring at the school entrance. He had not run. He had not smiled. He was simply waiting, pale and motionless, as if he already knew the door was about to open for him. Evan Mercer entered the lobby with his father walking half a step behind him. He was taller than Lily, taller than Noah, but he suddenly looked younger than he had in the camera footage. His varsity jacket was unzipped, and his hands stayed buried in its pockets. When he saw Lily, he stopped. The bright confidence she had described was gone from his face. Mr. Mercer placed a hand on his son's shoulder. Officer Ramirez has some questions, he said. Evan glanced at the tablet, then at Ms. Delaney. I did not do anything, he said. The words came out fast. I was just there. Officer Ramirez nodded toward the office. We can talk in there. Your father can join you. Evan did not move. His eyes found Lily again. She was not supposed to tell, he muttered. Mr. Mercer's hand tightened slightly on his shoulder. Evan. The boy looked down. In the silence that followed, Dean's posture changed. Marcus saw it before anyone else did. Dean's shoulders rose, his jaw set, and his gaze fixed on Evan with a hurt that had nowhere to go. Marcus stepped closer to Lily, placing himself between the children and the adults without making a show of it. You do not need to say anything to him, Marcus told Lily quietly. Not right now. Lily nodded, holding Atlas close. Officer Ramirez led Evan and Mr. Mercer toward the office. Ms. Delaney followed, but Officer Ramirez stopped her at the door. I will need to speak with you separately, he said. Her eyes flashed. I have nothing to hide. Then that will be simple, he replied. The door closed behind Evan and his father. The lobby exhaled. Parents began whispering in low voices near the trophy case. One of the riders outside came in long enough to offer Dean a cup of coffee from the gas station across the street. Dean shook his head. He stayed beside Lily, staring at the office door. Marcus could tell he wanted to do something. Make a call. Demand an answer. Walk into that room and force the world to become fair before his daughter had to carry one more minute of fear. Instead, he looked down at Lily. I should have asked more, he said. Lily did not answer immediately. Marcus watched her thumb brush over the tiny robot's blinking light. You asked if school was okay, she said. But you were always putting on your helmet when you asked. Dean's eyes closed for a moment. The words were not cruel. That made them worse. I thought I was working, he said. I thought I was building something for us. You were, Lily whispered. But I wanted you to see me too. Dean lowered himself to the bench beside her. He did not reach for her. He simply sat there, his hands resting on his knees, looking at the tile floor. Marcus turned away and checked his phone. A text from his supervisor waited on the screen, asking why he had not arrived for the evening shift at the repair shop. Marcus stared at it, then typed back that he would be late. He did not explain. Some things could not fit inside a text message. Noah leaned against Marcus's side. Dad, he whispered, is Lily going to be okay? Marcus looked at the office door, the school hallway, the dark windows beyond the lobby. She has people listening now, he said. That is how okay starts. At that moment, the office door opened. Officer Ramirez stepped out with a folder in his hand. His expression was serious, but no longer uncertain. Mr. Reed, he said. Mr. Hart, we need to talk. Evan has told us something important. Officer Ramirez led Marcus and Dean toward a quiet corner near the principal's office, where the hallway lights hummed above a row of framed class photos. Lily stayed on the bench with Noah and Mr. Patel, Atlas blinking softly in her hands. Marcus kept her in sight as Officer Ramirez opened the folder. Evan admitted he and the other two students locked Lily in the shed, he said. Dean's face went still. He also admitted they used a borrowed staff key to enter the control room. Marcus looked toward the reception desk. Ms. Delaney was no longer there. Borrowed from who? He asked. Officer Ramirez paused. Evan says Ms. Delaney did not tell them to lock Lily inside. But he says she saw them near the control room earlier this week and told them they should be careful because cameras could cause trouble for everyone. Dean's eyes narrowed. Careful. Officer Ramirez nodded. According to Evan, she knew there had been complaints about bullying. She wanted it handled quietly because Mr. Mercer's family has been funding the new science wing. Marcus felt the words settle like dust. Handled quietly. The phrase sounded clean until you looked at what it left behind. A child in a dark shed. A broken bracelet. A girl learning that adults could see the truth and still decide it was inconvenient. Dean looked through the glass toward Lily. She protected the school, he said. Not my daughter. Officer Ramirez's expression softened. The district will investigate. The principal has been contacted. Ms. Delaney has been asked to remain available for questioning. Ask, Dean repeated. Marcus touched Dean's arm lightly, not to stop him, only to bring him back to the room. Dean looked at Marcus, and the anger in his face met something steadier in Marcus's eyes. Do not give them an excuse to make this about you, Marcus said. Dean breathed once, slow and deep. Then he nodded. What happens to Evan? He asked. Officer Ramirez closed the folder. The school will follow its disciplinary process. His parents have agreed to cooperate. There will also be a review of staff conduct and the security system. Marcus looked at the polished hallway, the cheerful posters, the neat rows of classroom doors. And Lily, he asked. Lily gets support, Officer Ramirez said. She gets to be heard. That starts tonight. Dean walked back toward his daughter. He stopped in front of her, then lowered himself beside the bench. They told the truth, he said softly. Lily looked at him, waiting. They said you did nothing wrong. Her eyes filled, but she kept holding Atlas. I know, she whispered. Dean's throat moved as he swallowed. I know you know. I should have known sooner. Lily looked down at the little robot light blinking against her fingers. Are you mad? Dean shook his head. Not at you. He paused. I am sorry you had to be brave by yourself. Lily's face folded, and this time she leaned toward him. Dean wrapped his arms around her carefully, like he was afraid even comfort could be too heavy if he gave it too fast. Marcus looked away, giving them the small privacy they deserved. Noah tugged at his sleeve. Dad, did you fix it? Marcus looked at Lily in her father's arms, at the broken bracelet still resting against her wrist, at the school doors reflecting the dark blue evening. Not all of it, he said. But we opened the door. By the time Officer Ramirez finished speaking with the remaining parents, the school had emptied into the blue-black evening. The paper snowflakes in the lobby windows had become pale shapes against the dark glass. Marcus stood near the entrance with Noah beside him, his phone buzzing again in his pocket. He did not look at it. Across the room, Dean helped Lily slip out of Marcus's flannel, folding it with both hands as if it were something important. Thank you, Lily said, holding it out. Marcus smiled. Keep it for tonight. You can give it back another day. She looked at her father, then nodded. Dean watched Marcus for a moment before walking over. Without the hard set of anger in his face, he looked older than Marcus at first thought. Tired, too. I owe you an apology, Dean said. Marcus glanced toward the parking lot, where the motorcycles stood under the streetlights. You were worried about your daughter. I was, Dean replied. But I looked at you and decided a story before I knew your name. Marcus said nothing. Dean continued, his voice lower now. I saw a black man standing beside my child, and I let fear do the talking. You had just done more for her than I had all week. The words did not sound polished. That was why Marcus believed them. What matters is what you do after you see it, Marcus said. Dean nodded. Then I want to do something right. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card, not offering it like a favor, but holding it between two fingers until Marcus chose to take it. The card read Hart Customs, with an address on the east side of town. I run a restoration garage, Dean said. Classic bikes, old trucks, anything people think is too far gone to save. We have an open bay, steady hours, health insurance. I heard you work repairs. Marcus looked at the card, then at the grease on his own hands. I do. Come by tomorrow, Dean said. No pressure. Just let me show you the place. Marcus almost said no. He had learned to be careful when help arrived after a hard day. Sometimes kindness came with strings hidden beneath it. But Dean did not push. He only looked toward Lily, who sat beside Noah on the bench. Noah was showing her how Atlas could roll in a crooked circle across the tile. Lily laughed when the robot bumped gently into the leg of a chair. It was the first real laugh Marcus had heard from her. There is one more thing, Dean said. The school board meets next Thursday. I am going to be there. I am going to ask for a real plan, not a statement and not a photo for the newsletter. Marcus folded the card into his wallet. Then let Lily speak if she wants to. Dean looked at his daughter again. Only if she wants to. And no threats, Marcus added. Dean gave a tired half-smile. No threats. At that moment, Lily walked over with Atlas in both hands. Marcus, she said. Noah said you fix things. Marcus crouched beside her. I try. She held out the broken bracelet. The silver charm, shaped like a tiny wing, rested in her palm. Can you fix this? Marcus examined the snapped clasp, the bent link, the small scratches on the metal. Yes, he said. It will take a little time. Lily nodded, as if that answer meant more than the bracelet. Dean placed a hand gently on her shoulder. We have time, he said. Marcus looked at them both, then at Noah waiting near the door with his backpack and his robot. Outside, the wind moved leaves across the pavement in soft circles. For the first time that night, the road ahead did not look like something Marcus had to walk alone. The next Thursday, rain tapped softly against the windows of Hart Customs, turning the street outside into a ribbon of silver. Marcus stood at a workbench beneath warm overhead lights, holding Lily's bracelet between a pair of small pliers. The garage smelled of coffee, clean metal, and old leather. A 1968 pickup sat in the center bay with its hood open, while 3 motorcycles rested along the far wall beneath a faded American flag. Dean was across the room, helping Noah tighten a loose bolt on Atlas after the little robot had rolled off a stool. Not too hard, Dean said. Machines need room to breathe. Noah looked up. Robots breathe. Dean smiled. The good ones do. Lily sat on a red shop stool beside Marcus, her sneakers swinging above the concrete floor. She had come straight from school with her backpack still on and Marcus's flannel folded neatly inside it. The school board meeting was an hour away. Her father had asked if she wanted to go. Lily had said yes, then spent the whole drive asking whether her voice would shake. Marcus had told her shaking did not mean stopping. Now the bracelet clasp clicked into place beneath his fingers. He turned it over in the light. The tiny wing charm caught a warm gold reflection. Try it, he said. Lily held out her wrist. Marcus fastened the bracelet gently, then stepped back. She looked at it for a long time. It looks the same, she whispered. Not exactly, Marcus said. It is stronger where it broke. Dean heard him. He did not say anything, but his eyes stayed on Lily's wrist. Later, at the school board meeting, the room was full but quiet. Parents sat in folding chairs beneath fluorescent lights. The principal stood near a projector screen, speaking about new safety procedures, staff training, and a review of reporting policies. Ms. Delaney was no longer there. Evan's father sat near the back with his head lowered, while Evan sat beside him, pale and silent. When the chairperson asked if anyone wished to speak, Lily looked at Dean. Dean did not rise for her. He only nodded. Lily walked to the microphone with Marcus on one side of the aisle and Noah on the other. Her hands trembled around the edge of the podium, but her voice reached every corner of the room. "I did not need people to be scared for me," she said. "I needed someone to listen." No one clapped. No one moved. The silence that followed was not empty. It was listening. Dean stood after her, his leather jacket left at home, wearing a plain gray shirt instead. He spoke about responsibility, about being present, about learning too late that protection was not the same as attention. Then Marcus stood, not to speak about himself, but to say one thing. Every child deserves to be believed before they have to prove they are hurting. When the meeting ended, rain had stopped. Outside, Lily walked between Dean and Marcus toward the parking lot, her bracelet shining beneath the streetlights. Noah carried Atlas under one arm, and Dean held the garage keys in his hand. Nobody rushed. Nobody needed to. Behind them, the school windows glowed against the dark. Ahead, the pavement reflected the lights like a quiet road opening. Marcus looked at Lily, then at Noah, and felt the night settle around them without fear. He had not changed the whole world, but he had heard one small voice behind a locked door, and that had been enough to begin.